Searching for a truth and vision beyond the immediate, yielding to the need to find a power that animates all living things and their surroundings, man invented religion. Religion gave meaning to his existence. India gave birth to three of the world's greatest religions, which share many of each other's doctrines. They are Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Hinduism is considered to be a civilization as well as a confluence of religions. It has no single founder, though it is believed to have emerged from the Vedas. It does not have a central authority, hierarchy, or organization. Hinduism is not a religion that is preached, but a way of life, and it draws from other religions and philosophies, enriching itself in the process. Buddhism is based on the teachings of Gautama Buddha, who attained nirvana after leaving behind the luxurious life of a prince and going out in search of a higher truth. Jainism, as is practiced today, was founded by Mahavira, who was the last of the 24 Tirthankaras. Interestingly, the three religions share a common cultural and geographical origin. While Hinduism was already established as a religion and a way of life in the subcontinent and even beyond, Jainism remained mostly confined within the borders of India. Buddhism, however, traveled far and wide. Many early Buddhists had been Brahmins educated in the Upanishads. The Buddha, however, rejected the role of these scriptures in attaining salvation. He redefined existing Indian concepts, molding them to explain his middle path. He proclaimed that to attain salvation, one did not have to accept God or the scriptures. These novel ideas were later incorporated into Indian religious thinking as well. The movement of Buddhism through Asia was successful mainly because of its spirit of accommodation and its general fluidity. Reaching each new culture, Buddhism modified itself to suit the local manners and customs. This was done without compromising its core concerns of wisdom and compassion. Each new country thus developed its own forms of Buddhism, its own organizational structure and spiritual leader. Interestingly, it was not zealots or hardened missionaries who worked to spread Buddhism, but monks and scholars, savants from different countries, and even political exiles. A bigger boost came in the middle of the 3rd century BC when Emperor Ashoka espoused its cause. Rather than force his subjects to adopt Buddhism, he spread awareness by posting edicts engraved on iron pillars and rock throughout his realm. These edicts were ethical and inspirational. He sent missionaries throughout the land and beyond its shores. Ashoka was one of the most influential advocates of the Buddhist faith. Where Jainism is concerned, it was already an established religion in several Indian provinces even before Mahavira or the Buddha began their teaching. Places like Magadha, Kaushala, Kapilavastu, Vaishali, Pava, Mithila, Varanasi, Simhabhumi, Kaushambi and Avanti were prominent Jain centers. Jainism also reached southern India where it flourished. Savants like Bhadrabahu and Vishakhacharya, along with their disciples, migrated from the south and propagated the faith. There was a spirit of religious tolerance in these lands. This royal patronage resulted in the commissioning of numerous Jain temples and sculptures through the ages, and support for literary and scholarly ventures. At the end of the 4th century BC, it is said that the Mauryan king Chandragupta and a band of Jain ascetics led by Srutakevalin Bhadrabahu anticipated a severe famine in their country and migrated to Shravanabelagola in today's Karnataka state. From there, they started spreading the gospel of the Tirthankaras. Later, their disciples, under the leadership of Vishakhacharya, moved to the Chola and Pandya kingdoms, continuing with their mission of spreading Jainism. The migrant monks were supported in the south by householders of the faith. It was not customary for these monks to accept food from people of other faiths. One of the many interesting sidelights of these three religions is the cultural profusion they left in their wake. Art and literature flourished, starting out as expressions of religious faith and ending up as invaluable artistic legacies. The use of symbolic forms in India dates back to the Harappan seals. The fire altars of the Vedic period had astronomical and mathematical significance. Their evolution resulted in the later Hindu temples. Even though religion is seen to have inspired a large part of ancient Indian art, it is also an expression of Indian life, its natural background and socio-religious traditions. Its style, technique and artistic perspective have little to do with individual religious doctrines. Instead, it derives from a legacy of Indian traditions, symbols and designs. However, when we look at our major artistic monuments, we find they were inspired by Buddhism. Though earlier structures have been referred to in texts, there is no physical evidence of their existence. In fact, there is a grey period between the Harappan decline and the Maurya period. The Buddhist rock-cut monuments inspired Hindus and Jains to create their own monuments. Buddhism, which once spurned the realm of metaphysics and embraced only the palpable essence of life, had undergone a transformation with the advent of Mahayana Buddhism. This is significantly brought out in Buddhist art. The Buddha's evolution in the public eye from an ideal human being to a divine being can also be traced through a study of his icons and representations. In the early Buddhist art of Bharhut, Sanchi, Bodh Gaya and Amravati, the master's presence is merely indicated symbolically by means of an empty throne, a Bodhi tree, footprints or the Dharma Chakra. As his stature grew, so did the iconography. However, the culmination of Buddhist art, and indeed a conflagration of ancient Hindu art, can be seen in the cave temples of Ellora and Ajinta. These rock-cut caves are a reflection of the religious expression of the three religions, Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. There is no doubt that Ajinta and Ellora, known previously as Verul, represent not only the relationship between these three religions, but also the heights to which their respective artists and craftsmen had taken their religious concerns. These caves are an enlightening showcase of religious, artistic, and social history.